Oh, hey folks. I completely forgot that I was doing the intro like 2 seconds after you told me that I was going to. We don't remember how to do this show because it's been 9 months, 10 months since we've done it, but I am Rebecca, blonde in the belly of the beast. This is Robyn Riley, formerly Critical Condition. And apparently we have a channel called Motherland that we never make videos on because this is what happens when two women run something. Nothing ever gets done, and we can't schedule anything, and we don't know how to work the tech.
We're just
And no one,
rudderless.
I know, and no one knows who's doing the intro. We're directionless. This is the product of female innovation, this crappy channel. I just want everybody to remember that. Male producer incoming, right?
Hopefully.
But we do have a lot to talk about. The last 9 to 10 months has been pretty busy in both of our lives, which is probably why we haven't been able to do anything. I don't know how women with 10 children get anything done. I have one child, and it's like I've descended into parenting hell. I'm in a very challenging season of parenting where my kid is constantly putting things in the toilet. Everything that she's putting in her mouth after I look away for 2 seconds is friggin' poison or something.
Yeah.
Like, it's just trying to keep her alive. I don't know what women with more children do. Do they just accept, like, I might lose some of these kids? Is that how they do it?
I don't know how they do it either. Like, Magnus has just recently started jumping off things.
What a nightmare.
I know. And, thankfully his dad has just encouraged it. So it's like, whatever he can climb up on, he tries to jump off of. And we just got a bunch of new furniture for our house that we just moved into. And he'll climb up on it and he'll just start shaking it into the wall and just like denting it's just destruction everywhere.
Oh yeah. Yeah, totally. Yeah. When she was a tiny baby, I was like, I don't need to baby proof the house. And my house was all perfect and everything. And everybody was like, oh, you just wait. And I'm like, these people just don't know how to parent properly. And now I'm all day, I'm like, no. What are you doing? Put that down. And I should have listened.
Yep. That's how I feel too.
So you've got news.
Yeah. I don't know how many people on here like don't follow me on other platforms. Chances are you probably do. But if you haven't heard, I'm pregnant with my second child.
You're hella pregnant too.
I think I'm 20. See, this is the thing. Like, I don't even know how pregnant I am because like, who has time to like check a pregnancy app throughout the day to like find out what fruit or vegetable like is congruent with your baby size?
Yeah.
I'm like,
it's not baby shaped, by the way.
I'm either 21 or 22 weeks, I think, at this point. Yeah. So really excited. And I know the gender. I know the gender.
You want to wait?
We're going to wait until a little bit further in, but I'm going to reveal it at some point. We'll get the chat to like vote what they think I might be having after I tell what my symptoms are. We'll wait for a few more people to filter it. And I can see people are filtering in now, which is great.
Hi guys.
Yeah, life's just been absolutely nuts for me since like the last video that I made on my private channel. And I think the last video that I made with you, I was still in the Yukon. I was in Whitehorse, which is like the Arctic.
Yeah.
It's way too far north. They have like minus 29 degrees weather right now up there.
Gosh.
And
what is that in Fahrenheit?
It's freaking cold, man. I'm praising God every day that we got out of there just in time. Like in that window of like COVID relaxed regulations, we were like, this is our time.
Yeah.
If we don't get out of here now, we will be stuck here forever. And actually, interesting thing about what's going on in the Yukon. That's a little bit of a side note, but it's related to the show. So when I gave birth in the Yukon, midwifery was unregulated, meaning that in order for me to have a midwife, I had to just find like a rogue midwife who I would have to trust her word on how qualified she was.
Yeah.
They've recently regulated midwifery. And because of the regulations now, none of the midwives that were practicing for like the past 3 decades now qualify to work under the law. So there are 0 midwives in the North right now for women, which is like kind of messed up. Like there's 50,000 people up there. That's a lot of people to not have access to midwifery care or home birth care. So, I mean,
that is terrible.
It's messed up. As with everything, regulation is normally not the best idea.
Oh yeah. We have a midwife shortage up here. I don't even know how it's possible, but midwives are booked out 10 months.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess people are booking before they're actually pregnant while they're trying to make
That's
sure.
highly optimistic, and they really should not be taking.
Yeah,
But
they should be
there
taking people's spots.
I know, but there was a midwifery clinic in Sandpoint that, was doing really well, and then, the midwife, I guess she catheterized one of the women and the baby ended up dying. I don't know how
What?
they established causation, but normally when things like this happen in a hospital setting, they have malpractice insurance. But as a result of this, the entire midwifery clinic has been shut down. And so there is
Wow.
a dearth of midwives around here. You basically have to have a hospital birth. There are a few people that
Wow.
do it, but my friend that's pregnant had a really hard time, finding somebody, and she was gonna have to drive, like, 45 minutes away and meet a midwife halfway at a birthing center, and so, like, home birth was out of the question for her, but I think that she's been able to work it and find somebody.
Brutal.
Yeah.
It's the same here. Like I've moved to BC. I went further south. I'm on Vancouver Island now, and I'm very thankful for that. But because there was like a 6 month like a gap in between me having a place to live, we were living like with family for 3 months, which is when I got pregnant. Not ideal.
Gross.
Um, and we were like 3 months in Airbnbs and stuff, right? So when I got back to the island, um, I was 3 months pregnant and I was booking a midwife for March, like basically in September, meaning there was
Yeah,
no one. Like
right.
I got turned down by I think 10 midwifery practices. And
Were
I
they just so
called.
busy? They were just booked.
Yeah, they were just like, nope, sorry, you can get on the waiting list. So I was like really considering, like, am I gonna have to have a hospital birth now? Like,
Yeah.
is this really what's gonna happen? So I called my old midwife in the Yukon, and thankfully she had some connections and she hooked me up with a midwife here on
Good.
the island. So I have a home birth midwife. I'm still planning a home birth, thankfully,
That's
but
so great. When we were talking about this, when you were going through it, I thought it would be a funny twist of events in God's plan that I ended up
yeah.
having to have a home birth and you ended up having to have a hospital birth next time.
Yeah, I was like, was I too smug the last time? Like, is God like humbling me right now by forcing me to birth in hospital?
Yeah, really. Oh my gosh. No, I'm so glad that that worked out for you. That people should have the birth that they want. And
Yeah.
I know that we have a lot of conflicting opinions about home and hospital births, and I think the take home lesson is that everybody should just be able to do what they want and what they
Yep.
feel most comfortable doing.
Exactly.
Um, and hospital births, who knows what that is going to look like in a year, in 6
Yeah.
months, next month, next week.
Exactly. Yeah.
What are they going to throw people out for being unvaccinated?
I mean, I'm sure that in some places it's going to come to that. Like maybe
Yeah.
it doesn't seem like we're at that point yet here in Canada, but some European countries, I think they're on the cusp of denying medical care if you're
Yeah.
unvaccinated.
Yeah.
It seems like that's where they're headed, which is very unnerving. And I mean, there's been lots of women who've had their prenatal care and their birth plans totally, put up in the air by this COVID situation.
Oh
And
yeah.
not to mention like people with like, cancer and like, surgeries booked and stuff like that. Like it's just an absolute mess. It's not a great time to be having babies, to be
Oh,
honest.
I know.
Maybe that's the wrong thing to say. Maybe it's the greatest time to have babies, but in terms of
Who
prenatal
knows?
care, I feel like it's not so great.
You have to, no matter if it's a good time or a bad time. But did I tell you that my midwife tried to give me the vaccine?
What?
Yes, I booked a preconception appointment, which was somewhat unnecessary, but I just wanted to make sure that like I was good to go to have a
Yep.
baby.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't really know what they can tell in a
Well,
preconception
they
appointment
can
anyway.
did they like measure your thyroid and your hormones and stuff?
I had them measure my thyroid because I have thyroid problems in the family, and they
Mhm.
developed in my mom and my sister after their first pregnancy or during their
Right.
first pregnancy.
Yeah.
So I've been pretty diligent about like I need my TSH and T3 and T4 tested
That's
like every
wise.
year, every 6 months, something like that. And then I just wanted them to do a breast exam too. And then just tell me like it's fine for you to start trying, even though your baby was premature and everything like that. So
Yeah.
I went in there, and then my favorite midwife, or one of my favorites, I couldn't believe it, but I was like, yeah, I had COVID. And she's like, well, you can get it twice. So you still need to get the vaccine. And I was like stunned. I was like, I'm definitely not going to do that.
No.
Definitely not. But then I heard that the midwife that delivered my baby is not vaccinating people.
Okay.
So, I don't know what they're gonna do. I mean, I would imagine that they're gonna end up firing some people that are refusing to institute this vaccine policy within the
Yeah.
practice. But I don't know what I'm gonna, God willing, if I get pregnant, I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Yeah. I mean, the midwife that I have now, it wasn't until my second appointment with her when we've already confirmed that she's going to be my midwife. And it's kind of like a midwife team this time. I have 4 midwives instead of 1, which is
Oh,
weird. So I see someone
yeah.
different every time, but it doesn't really matter to me. I'm just happy to have a midwife. But she asked me on my second visit, am I COVID vaccinated? And I was like, nope. And I've almost never been more happy to be wearing a mask because I just felt like my face was cringing and I was so uncomfortable. And there was like this awkward silence for a moment. And then she's like, what about your husband? And I was like, nope. And she's like, okay. And then she just went on with the next question. So like she was really like, her poker face was really good. I
Yeah.
don't know how she specifically felt about it. But I do know that based on my previous midwife's recommendation, the 3 of the midwives on that team are very just pro informed consent, pro honoring what the woman wants, supporting the decisions,
Right.
regardless of whether or not they have personal biases one way or the other. So I'm hoping it's not going to be an issue. They're not doing like home visits right now. So like even when I'm in my 3rd trimester, they're probably not going to be doing home visits, which
What the
is
crap are you
weird.
supposed to do?
I don't know. I guess I'm gonna have to get my husband to drive me into town or something. I don't know. We'll have to see what happens.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Oh my
I
God.
will try to. Hopefully, we can continue doing these posts, and I can let you guys know how it develops because I just really don't know right now. I'm just kind of handing it over to God and being like, I'm not in control here. As
I
long as I
know.
can have my home birth, I'm just trying to be grateful.
That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should have a whole episode on relinquishing control to God in these trying times because I am really bad at it. Just terrible, terrible at it.
Yeah.
It's a bad time to be a neurotic mother because I don't know. I don't know about you, but like 'cause you were way further along in this than I was, but I am having a really difficult time mentally realizing that I can't trust doctors.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
I'm really struggling with it because
Yeah.
I always, being able to look to experts for advice is really comforting,
Mhm.
because you don't have to trust yourself with all of this information. And now it's like, what do I even do? Who
Yeah.
can I trust? My dad, I guess. And that's pretty much it.
Well, you're lucky that you have doctors in the family because
Yeah.
like they're obviously going to be looking out for your best interests. But like, I've never really trusted doctors. I've just always kind of like been paranoid about doctors in general.
Yeah.
But like, I don't like with a one sweeping brushstroke paint all doctors as being bad or nefarious or anything like that. I think you do have to have an altruistic spirit about you. To become a doctor. I think there's lots of narcissists that are doctors as well, though.
And
Um,
greed is a really good motivating factor for a lot of them
Absolutely, and
too.
like status seeking and all that kind of stuff. I think it's like I think it's one of the jobs that like most psychopaths become. It's like this
Surgeons. Yeah.
surgeons, yeah,
Mhm.
exactly, that kind of thing. So I mean, like I've always just been suspicious, but I mean, like for example, a little while ago, and I told you about this when it happened. My son, he had like some lymph nodes that were swollen for a really long time, like maybe 4 weeks, but he had no other symptoms. And he's a very like low body fat kid. So we were just kind of like, are his lymph nodes just visible?
Yeah.
Or is he like fighting something? And he spiked a fever one night really, really fast, really, really high. And both me and my husband panicked. We didn't have Tylenol with us because we were in an Airbnb at the time.
How high was the fever?
I think it was 40.5.
You
I
Canadians
think.
and you're okay.
I know, sorry, we're on different measurement systems. And I think like so 40.5 is considered to be just the cusp of high. Like I think you
40.5 is 105 degrees.
so maybe it was 39.5 because it wasn't like an emergency, but it was like we are scared, you
Probably
know?
39.5, yeah.
Probably 39.5. And it was one of these like, gadget ear ones, which they aren't always
They're not
super
super
accurate.
accurate, yeah.
So that's like worth mentioning. And so we went into the emergency room, the general hospital. And it was a total nightmare. Like we were there for 5 hours waiting to be seen. In that time, his fever broke. And they had this like COVID waiting station set up outside the hospital where there were literally moms with newborns, like wrapped in blankets, sitting in the cold outside in the evening after the sun had gone down, waiting to be screened to be let into the hospital.
This is inhumane.
It was unbelievable. Like I actually spoke to one of the moms that I saw outside. I was like, I'm so happy you're inside right now. Like I was feeling like really angry for you that you're just stuck outside with your baby right now. And she's like, I know. It's like all this protocol has kind of made the services that you get way worse, actually.
Yeah.
And so we finally got in. When the doctor started grilling me about, are you vaccinated? Have you vaccinated your son? When I told him that I hadn't, he then was like, okay, well, now I'm assuming that your son probably has any host of like rare fatal diseases. So
why would you just assume that?
That's what that's what he literally said to me. So he was like, okay, so we're going to do blood work. We're going to do a nasal swab. That's where we're going to start. And I was like, we're not doing a COVID swab on my 19-month-old son. He was like, why not? And he totally fought me on it. It was so intimidating. Like it was nighttime. I was hungry. I was pregnant. My husband was waiting in the car in the parking lot because only one parent is allowed in at a time. So I was like isolated.
You guys live together. Who cares?
I know. It just, that's what I mean about the protocols. Like, it's just so messed up. And then he really threw the book at me. Like while we were waiting for the blood work and stuff, he had technicians roll up with an x-ray machine. And they're like, we're here to do the chest x-rays. And I was like, what? Like, I'm not doing chest x-rays on my 19-month-old son. The doctor didn't even tell me that this was something that he wanted to do. He didn't ask me if this is something I was comfortable with. He has no lung-related issues. He just has a fever and some swollen lymph nodes. And then I was like, can I just leave? Can I just I felt like I couldn't leave. I really felt trapped because I didn't know what to do. I was holding my sick child and I was like, I really felt traumatized by the whole experience. And so after that has happened, and I left without getting the blood work as well, I was just like, just screw it. Like, and he was fine afterwards. It was just, first time mom panic induced going to the hospital, which we will never do again for a fever. But I think that was the last straw. Any shred of, optimism or idealism I had about doctors in general was just taken away from me in that moment and in that experience. I was weeks getting over it.
I mean,
it was horrible.
Lymph node swelling in a toddler with no other symptoms is relatively common, and I'm super neurotic. And when you told me this, I was like, I bet he's just fighting some random virus, and that he's fine. And what he told you about this could be any host of rare diseases, that was purely punitive.
Yep. Yeah.
Purely punitive. He just wanted to punish you and make you afraid so that you would get him vaccinated.
Yeah, that's how it felt. And it didn't help the fact that I was in emergency on a Friday night, which is the worst time to go. There were people in open air rooms, in hospital beds, in the hallways, coughing and hacking and screaming and stuff. It was horrible. It was so bad. It was such a bad idea to go in. And we got blood work done later down the line by a private clinic. Came back completely normal. So we're not worried about Magnus anymore. And I feel that taught us some things as first-time parents,
But you thought he had cancer for 2 weeks.
Well, because another doctor was because we had another physician check him out before we got to the island, and they were like, it's probably nothing. He's really skinny. Sometimes toddlers just have slightly swollen lymph nodes and they're more visible. She's like, they're mobile, they're not hard, they're not growing, it's fine. But if they don't go away in a few weeks, it could maybe be leukemia.
Oh,
so I was like, okay, thanks. That's really not what I wanted to hear. So, but because of that experience, I had to do my due diligence as a mom to make sure that my son is okay. But a blood work screening was enough to confirm that, he doesn't have cancer. He's fine. He's just a skinny kid, and you can just see his lymph nodes sometimes when he turns his neck, and it's not a big deal. So yeah, I no longer trust doctors either. And, even as someone who's a home birther, that's not a chill place to be when you have little ones.
No. And I would like to know that we can go to the hospital if we need to. There's some things that you just can't treat at home. My kid breaks her leg.
Yeah.
I have to take her to the hospital.
Yeah.
And so what do you do? I want to believe that you can still trust doctors, but this COVID thing is out of control. It's out of control. Hearing this from my midwife,
Yeah.
get the vaccine. It's like, what?
Yeah.
What?
I really hope my midwife doesn't ask me to get the vaccine. Like the fact that I don't have it already and she has that on record should be enough for her to know that I don't want, like, if I wanted to take it, I would have taken it by now.
Yeah.
You know?
It doesn't matter. We're all going to be political prisoners in a year anyway. So who gives a shit? I don't know. Like, I believe in freedom of choice when it comes to the vaccine. If I were 80, maybe I'd get it. I don't know. But
Yeah.
when you're pregnant, you have
Yeah.
no business getting the vaccine. You have another life to take care of. There are no long-term studies on this. I can't believe they tell you not to eat runny eggs because
Yeah.
you can get salmonella, even though salmonella is no worse risk to a pregnant person than anybody else. You get
Yeah.
salmonella, you throw up for a few days, everything's fine, baby's fine, but you have
Yeah.
to not eat runny eggs for 9 months. But here, take this experimental mRNA vaccine. You have no idea how. And then that one study came out recently. It was a pretty good analysis based on the low sample size that we have of stillbirth in
Yeah.
mRNA vaccinated individuals. And everybody's just acting like, oh, well, I mean, nothing's worse than COVID. Your dead baby is
Yeah.
worse than COVID. I've had COVID. It's not a big deal. Everybody get over it. This is just so outrageous to me. And then what about all the people that are having minor pregnancy complications? Like the amniotic fluid leaking that I had. I didn't know that my water had broken. But what if that happened and I was living somewhere like where you're living? I would probably be like, well, I can't go to the hospital for this. So I guess I'm just going to hang out. And then I get sepsis and my baby and I die.
Yeah.
All because of the medical system. Now, is that going to be counted as a COVID death, even though it kind of is? No.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I mean,
really, really
I would have
crazy.
died because of COVID, right?
Yeah, it's really not a fun time to be a mom in that regard. In lots of ways, it's like a very welcome distraction from how messed up the world is.
I know.
Yeah.
Because
you can just kind of be in your little bubble.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, it's really and like the thing is, like, I feel like online and in my personal life, I can very easily just speak my mind, and I can disagree with people, and I can be disagreeable in a way that doesn't make me feel uncomfortable. But for some reason in public, like, I have this neurotic agreeableness where, like, I don't want to upset like this minimum wage worker at the supermarket by taking my mask off, even though I can't freaking breathe, and
that's
it's
Anglo nonsense,
yeah, it
Robyn.
is. It's totally Anglo nonsense. It really is. And also, like, I want my midwife to like me. Like, I don't want her to think that, like, I'm this, like, insane religious fanatic, anti-vaccine. You know what I mean? Like all of, like, I mean, I am those things, but, like, I don't want her to think that I'm those things, if that makes sense.
Yeah. You just have to trust that they're going to give you the best care, and they probably agree with you. They are midwives after all. They're not doctors. They aren't working in a hospital. There's a reason they're doing home births, and it's probably because on some level they agree with you fundamentally.
I hope so. I really
And
hope so.
I had 4 midwives, and I got really close to one of them, and she ended up being the one that later told me to get vaccinated. And then one of the ones
Wow.
that I didn't like as much, she was the one that gave birth to my baby, and she did the best job. And afterwards, I was like, that is the midwife I was supposed to have. And before, I was like, this is just the one midwife I'm not really jiving with.
Interesting.
And she just ended up being, she was just amazing. She just did an amazing job. And I was so grateful. I'm so grateful and she's the one that's not vaccinating, apparently.
Wow.
So, yeah.
I guess that might be the benefit of having, like, a little team of midwives, is you're probably statistically more likely to at least vibe with one of them.
Yeah. Yeah. But it doesn't really matter. I mean,
no, I mean, that's how I feel. I feel like the second time around with this pregnancy, like my first time when I was pregnant, I was like, I want to have this, like, deep spiritual relationship with my midwife. Like, I want her to pray over me. Like, I want this, like, I wanted that. This time I'm just like, can she show up before the baby's born? Like, that's pretty much my only requirement at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
I just don't care.
And will she, I mean, keeping me calm was a really important thing. And so I think that this midwife that I didn't connect with was because she wasn't as sensitive to my OCD nonsense as other she wasn't enabling like the other midwives were, but I
Right.
really needed that in my birth because there was a point where I was like, I'm gonna die, the baby's gonna
Oh.
die. And she just was like, you're fine, everything's gonna be fine, no one's gonna die. And I was like,
Yeah,
oh, okay. And
that's
then I was able to
awesome.
just move on. So she was the one I needed. Here's the right one. So I'm sure that that's going to happen with you too. I'm
I
sure they're
hope
well
so.
trained and
I really hope so.
oh my gosh, I can't believe you're pregnant. This all happened. Life comes at you fast, right?
I know,
Gosh.
I know. Like, I feel like the way baby fever creeps up on you, it's
Yeah.
really weird. Like, it's related to like who in your social circle is also pregnant, I feel like.
Everyone.
Right? That's
Everyone's
how it
pregnant.
feels. That's how it feels, totally. And then also, like, I'm 33 now. Oh god, I'm 33. It still hits me like a brick wall that I'm oh, that's kind of a funny pun. That I'm 33.
You heard it here, Robyn smashed into that wall, just
I
face
never
first.
never recovered. Um, but like I'm like, do I really want to be pregnant? Like when I'm in my 40s? No, I don't think I really do. I really don't think that I do. Maybe I'll feel different when I'm 38 and 39 and I just want more babies and but like I want to
Who knows?
have
You might feel like you're done then.
I might feel like I'm done and I want to just get these babies out and I wanted to like give Magnus a sibling because we're all trapped inside all the time. Even with my social circle of people from church and stuff that are, pretty like COVID relaxed, like they don't care about masks and social distancing and stuff. There aren't a lot of opportunities for Magnus to like interact with other kids. Like I wish
Mhm.
that we lived close, like we could have play
I
dates all the
know, all
time and
right.
stuff, but
Yeah.
that's just not a possibility. So I'm like, I need to give this kid a sibling,
Right, exactly. We should talk
Um,
now about spacing and
yeah,
about
let's do
number of
that.
children, because I think
Yeah,
that
sure.
we have more perspective on that. I hear so much in the dissonant right, like all these dudes have as many kids as you can possibly have, and I'm so against this. I don't think that women should do that. People should have as many children as they can handle, as they
Yes.
can handle,
Yeah.
and no
Yeah.
more than that. And I just feel really strongly about that because, like you and I, we just have different children. They have
Yeah.
different attitudes and Emmeline's so chill and up until recently she's been really easy. And so I feel like I can handle more children. But I mean, do you feel like you could handle Magnus and like 7 more kids?
No, I don't. I
Yeah.
really don't. And I think the ironic thing about like all these guys in the dissident right saying this is these they're like save the white race but breed like a sub-Saharan African. Like, no, like how about you secure the borders, gentlemen? Like,
I know.
can
And how
you
many
just like
kids do you have?
yeah, like it's not fair to put that on the backs of just like women who are many of us waking up out of a stupor, like this the liberal stupor or the feminist stupor of like, living your life and being independent and getting your career sorted first. Like there was a major psyop that happened on our generation
Yeah.
that I'm not saying we're not responsible for. Like we made
But
our
it's hard to
decisions.
fight the world on things like this, especially
Yes,
as a woman. We just don't have as much agency as men. And
it's
men
true.
were telling me that this is how I should live my life. So what am I
Yeah,
supposed to think?
exactly. So like I'm like in I'm almost in my mid 30s. Like my child is absolutely insane. Like he just doesn't stop all day. Even my husband is like, "Wow, this kid's nuts." Like I don't know how and he's going through a sleep regression right now. So like for
Oh God.
example, he didn't go to sleep last night until like midnight and he was up at 8 and then he was up several times to nurse back to sleep throughout the night. So I'm just like absolutely shattered all of the time.
Ugh.
I'm so tired. Like I thought like the newborn and like 4-month regression sleep regression was like hard. No, like I've like reached a whole new like psychotic level of exhaustion where I'm like pregnant, I'm tired, we just moved, I'm like trying to set up a house, I'm trying to make sure my kid doesn't kill himself. And me and my husband like looked at each other the other day and we were like, we done it too? Like, are you good? Like, I'm kind of good. Like, I don't know if I can do this anymore. Like,
Yeah.
why don't we just play it by ear instead of
Yeah.
like putting this thing on our backs where we're like, yeah, let's have as many kids as possible. Why don't we take it child by child and pray that
Exactly.
this child is going to give us a break which I'm really hoping this child's going to be like the opposite of their brother and will
Get
just
your
be
little
chill.
Emmeline. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be so nice. Oh my God. I would just be so grateful for an easy baby number two. And then, I think I would be more willing to have a number three,
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
But
And
this
then it
whole
depends on the
thing,
pregnancy and the birth too.
yeah,
It's
it does. It absolutely does. Like I might end up with a C-section and I might not be able to have more kids. And there's all these different varying factors that play on your fertility where like saying, "Oh, I want 5 kids," like that's a bit presumptuous. Like you need to kind of see what God provides for you,
right,
I
exactly.
think.
And God will provide you with what you can handle, hopefully,
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and in terms of child spacing, it's the same thing. I know, I'm Catholic, and so I know tons of people. I think we've talked about this on one other stream that don't believe in child spacing,
Mm.
but all of those women have tons of miscarriages.
Yeah.
Like they might have 6 kids, but they've had 6 miscarriages.
Yeah, it's
And some of
crazy.
them are like 12 weeks and 20 weeks, and there's some stillborns in there. It's like,
Yeah.
it's also our responsibility to let our bodies replenish the nutrients that we've lost during pregnancy. And that takes 18 months. The
Yeah.
data on 1 year after pregnancy is pretty good. It's pretty close to 18 months, which is ideal spacing. So like I would feel comfortable at a year if my baby wasn't premature.
Yep.
But I think that we also need to honor the female body. This is true
Yeah.
feminism, right? By
Mhm.
allowing the body to repair itself after pregnancy. And then
Yes.
how guilty would you feel if you got pregnant 2 months after giving birth or 3 months after giving birth and then you lost that baby?
God forbid. Yeah, that'd
Yeah,
be
I would
horrible.
just feel horrible that like I didn't do everything that I could to give that baby um its greatest chance at success. And so this child spacing thing, it's like I don't know that there's a lot of biblical support for stacking pregnancies in such a way that it's damaging to children and damaging to the mother.
Well, like the whole argumentation comes from you're not allowed to say no to sex with your husband, which is like that's I
Yeah.
think what a lot of this tradcath um line of thinking comes from is that you have to submit to your husband. You married your husband, you're supposed to always say yes. And it's like, okay, like I'm not saying that you should just like withhold sex from your husband. That's not what I'm suggesting at all. But like, do you have a husband who appreciates the fact that pregnancy is the most burdensome thing that you will ever go through?
Right.
And is his sex drive more important than your recovery?
Exactly. Right.
Like that's an
And
important thing to think about.
and you aren't supposed to withhold sex from your husband because it's damaging to your marriage and creates a lot of
Yes.
tension. So you might have to practice some light birth control methods like withdrawal or natural family planning or a
Uh-huh.
combination of both, which is like 99% effective.
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, I don't feel super tradcath saying this. Oh, you hear all the kids crying.
Is there multiple children downstairs?
Yes, my brother's family just moved out here.
Oh, that's so nice. So M has cousins around. Oh,
Yeah.
that's so wonderful.
Yeah, they're having this little baby power struggle right now, and, I don't know how to resolve it, and so I heard my sister-in-law, I thought she was gonna be all like, "Don't do that, like, give that away," and I heard her privately talking to the 2 youngest girls, and she's like, "The strongest one wins."
It's the
I
way
was
of
like,
nature.
"That is exactly right. That is the kind of Mad Max parenting that I am into,"
I
and
love
sh
that.
she just lets him sort it out because 'cause she's got a few kids, and so she's a more experienced mother than I am, and I'm like, "All right, right on." My
Yeah.
instinct is to intervene and be like, "No, no, no," but I think maybe just letting them beat on each other is probably, the right way
Well,
to
they
go here.
learn what behavior will make people like them and want to be
Yeah,
around them and what kind of behavior doesn't, right? And
yeah,
that's not
that's
something
really
that you
funny.
can really like explain persuasively to a young child. They need to
Yeah,
figure it out
yeah,
through
definitely.
actions.
Oh, someone in the live chat just said, I told my midwives I really wanted babies close together and they said space them out so the baby can be the baby. I thought that was so important. I'm glad they shared that with me. And that's
That's
true. Like,
so
that's so
true.
true. I'm just feeling like Emmeline right now, and she's 17 months, like she's not a baby anymore. I'm
Yeah.
just feeling that right now. And so
Yeah.
it seems like it's a good time for me to start trying.
Yep, totally. That's how I feel about Magnus too. Like Magnus, like even now, he's going to be 2 years old when baby two comes along.
Yeah.
And even I'm kind of like, how am I going to split my time? Like how, like he just takes so much from me. How am I going to fit a newborn into this, you know?
Yeah.
And there's something like really kind of heartbreaking about your firstborn not being a baby anymore and then shifting that focus onto someone totally new.
Totally
Like
new.
it's
Oh,
really, really weird. And I'm really thankful that I gave Magnus a solid 2 years of my attention, like full attention, like to help him develop into the person that he is and to really like, not have to be weaned too soon. Like I'm still nursing as well, which like I would
man,
have,
you did it. You really hated nursing, and you are going
yeah.
to outlast me on
Oh
nursing.
man.
That's
I don't
wild.
know. I don't, it's not like a source of pride, like because it's
You
not,
should be so proud. You
but
didn't
I
wanna
don't feel
do
like
it.
it's a choice. I don't feel like it's a choice. I feel like I'm being held hostage by my
That's okay,
toddler.
but you're still doing it. You're still doing
Yeah,
it.
yeah, that's true. Like I could have just cut him off. I could have just let him cry for a week and or maybe 3 days. I don't know how long it would have taken him to calibrate. Probably shorter than I would have thought. We were talking about that earlier, but I'm not willing to like deny him that comfort and that connection with me and that quiet time with me and
Yeah.
that feeling of safety and closeness when he's going to sleep because like he's literally on the cusp of not needing it anymore.
Yeah,
So
and then
why am
it's
I
gone
what and then it's gone
forever.
forever. It's gone forever. And I even though I hate it and I've hated it for so long and it's been such a difficult journey for me as a mom and I really wish that I've been one of those moms that just like loves it. But I'm not. I know I'm going to miss it in many ways
Yeah.
once that relationship is over. So yeah, someone says refusing to sleep train is utterly based. I agree.
I know.
It
We are
is.
co-sleeping still, and I'm trying to get pregnant, so this has just been a joy, and
It's chaotic.
it's just chaotic, and yeah, it's a whole thing. So I've been night weaning Emmeline, and
Right?
it took one night, like one terrible night, and then
Mhm.
after that, it's been totally fine because she doesn't need the nutrients at all. She doesn't.
No.
She eats tons all day. Um, but really what she wants is the comfort. And so she's been doing this thing lately where she holds my face and then she looks at me longingly and then she like leans in to like open mouth kiss me. She like but she just wants to like have her face against my face. And so when she's nursing at night, and or when I'm like, listen, you can't nurse, and like I'll give you comfort in other ways. She just wants to sleep holding my face with her face just pressed up against mine. And we slept like that the
Oh.
other night for like hours. Just
Oh,
I
that's
know.
so sweet. That's just
Yeah,
so darling.
I know. She just
Someone in the
wants comfort.
someone in the chat says genuine question, why is breastfeeding unenjoyable? It's not unenjoyable for many women. Many
Yeah.
women
I loved it.
absolutely
Yeah, I
love
love
it.
it. Yeah.
For me, like I'm a very like I'm not so like one of my love languages is not physical touch.
Oh, really?
That's not my person. Like I love getting hugs and cuddling with my husband and like giving him kisses and stuff like that, but like it's not my personality to be super lovey-dovey like that, you know? Like that's just not how I communicate love or feel loved is through physical touch. And I think that's like partially just because I'm a really hypersensitive person and like physical like I'm very ticklish, you know, like touch just is overstimulating to me in
Right.
many ways. And for the first part of my nursing journey with Magnus, it wasn't a big deal, except for the fact that I couldn't sleep it very much.
Oh, that's
Once I
rough.
got
Yeah.
pregnant, though, and the breast tenderness and the nipple tenderness started to happen, nursing became physical torture to me. Like I literally felt like my nervous system was like on fire. Like
Oh,
I just wanted to scream, wanted to peel my skin off. Like it just felt like I just didn't want to be touched anymore. I just wanted 4 hours of just
not being touched. Yeah.
not being touched, yeah, and not everyone's gonna have that experience, but that's been my experience, and still, like, not every day do I get moments like that. It's kinda gotten better now that I'm in the 2nd trimester because my breast
Yeah.
tenderness has gotten less intense,
Yes.
but there are still times, especially at night, when I'm like, "Dang, I'm so friggin' tired, and, like, this is really mentally frustrating me, and I can't escape from it because if I stop, he's gonna start screaming," and it's just, like, I feel very trapped in it, so it's, like,
Right.
there were times in trimester 1 where I felt suicidal
Oh my
when I was
gosh.
breastfeeding, especially at night, because I was like, I was doing the bad thing of projecting into the future, like, how am I going to do this when I have a newborn? How am I ever going to be able to wean him? And like jumping too far ahead and like putting all kinds of things on my shoulders that I can't deal with all at once, anyways, rather than
Right.
just being like, this is the situation now. Pray your way through it now, you know? And so there were some rough patches for me big time with breastfeeding. It's gotten a little better now. I don't think I'm going to wean Magnus before baby two comes if I don't have to, because I'm afraid that it's going to make him hate his sibling. If like
I don't think he'll make
he
that connection
no,
though.
I hope not. Like he loves the baby now. It's really cute. Like he understands there's a baby in my belly and he'll be like, "Baby." He wants to see my belly, so I like take my belly out and he puts his ear against my belly. I'm like,
Oh,
"Can you hear the baby? What's the baby saying?" And he goes, "Cookie." See, it's so funny because he's obsessed with cookies, obviously.
oh
But
my gosh.
yeah,
How cute.
I don't want a tandem nurse, but I'm just gonna try and see where it goes, and hopefully, um, Magnus will self wean soon because he eats a lot as well.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
That sounds rough.
it was brutal. It's really brutal. I hate it.
I do not think I'm gonna be able to get pregnant until she's totally weaned.
Yeah, that's pretty common, I think. Yeah.
I mean, I'm having a regular period. Things are still kind of weird though. And then
Right.
once I night weaned her, I could tell that things started to get a little bit better. Hormones
Right.
are weird. Once I night weaned her, I immediately started getting bands of cystic acne.
Oh, interesting.
So there's clearly some kind of hormonal
Yeah.
shift that's happening because of weaning. And I just think I'm the kind of person that everything needs to be really balanced. Like my period has to
Mhm.
be perfect for me to get pregnant.
Yep. That's
So
how it was for me too. I had to gain 5 pounds back before my period even just, like, even remotely looked like a period or felt like a period.
really,
Yeah, it like, what
mm,
like, I think so I got my period back at 10 months, but it was, like, 2 days long, and it wasn't like a normal flow. It was
yeah.
just, like, it just wasn't normal. It just wasn't my normal, my normal period, but once I gained 5 pounds back on top of my, I got down to my pre-pregnancy weight, then went 5 pounds back up, and I started taking ashwagandha, which is like some sort of, I don't even know exactly what it is, but it was recommended to me by a midwife who's a friend, and supposed to like, it's one of these things that's like a cure-all, like
Huh.
whatever's wrong with you, it'll fix. I can't remember what it's called, but I took that for a month. I gained 5 pounds back over the course of 4 or 5 weeks. Got a solid period back, normal 4-day flow, like heavy the first 2 days, then sort of gradually petering
Right.
off the last two. And that next cycle, I was pregnant. So,
Man, maybe I
yeah.
should do that because last month my period was 9 days long.
Whoa, that's insane.
But it was like, I'm sorry, everybody. This is just TMI. Gosh, I'm like, I never
Deal with
talk about
it.
my private life, but let me talk about the heaviness of my menstrual cycle. It was like my normal period, like, 1 day that was really light and then 2 days that were really heavy and then tapering off.
Yeah.
But it tapered off for like 5 days. It was like the
So
never ending period. And I looked at my app and I was like, is this the ninth day of my
that's
period?
insane.
So like something's up. If it were really heavy flow for 9 days, I would have been freaking out. But it was
Yeah.
basically normal, except it just would not end. It was spotting for
Interesting.
5 days. Yeah. So
Interesting.
something's up. And I think it's related to like when she's teething, she'll breastfeed tons, and then I'm night weaning her. And it's just, I'm getting all these migraines now. Something's going on. So I don't know. Maybe I'm pregnant.
Let's hope. Let's pray. Let's pray that you are. Someone in the chat is like, "This is so gnarly."
Yeah, yeah, it is. Didn't you watch my birth story? I talk about my retained placenta for like 5 minutes. Do you think this is gnarly? So I don't know. Let's talk about baby number 2. Did we get some
Okay.
votes in?
Okay, so why don't we do like a little vote of what you think I might have. So things that might help you decide what you think I might be having is, I dreamt recently that I had a boy. Um, if you know the wives' tales, people say that you have the opposite of what you dream you're having. But I know lots of women who have dreamt that they had like a boy and they had a boy. So um, I dreamt I had a boy. Uh, I am carrying slightly higher this time than I was last time. My only really huge different pregnancy symptom is that I've been getting localized migraines in my eye, which are brutal. And I won't take painkillers for it. So they last like 48 hours and
Ugh.
it sucks. So based on those 3 pieces of information, what do you think I'm having, chat? Boy or girl? Let's
Looks pretty
see.
split. I see boy, boy,
Boy, boy.
girl, girl, boy, boy. They want to see your belly. Can you do that? Oh, you don't have
Uh,
to. Okay.
I
I
don't
didn't mean
want
to
to show
put
my
you on the
belly.
spot. Put you on the spot.
I'll show my belly on Instagram so it's like posed and I'm in control of what's going on.
I'm seeing more boy than girl. But for some reason, a lot of men are watching this channel today. Why are you guys here?
Yeah.
Go home. Go make money for your families. Why are you watching this? This is ridiculous. Like, I hate
Okay.
getting trolled in our chat. It's like, of all the channels you could be watching right now. Like,
Yeah, seriously. They're probably fans from the Blonde and Matt show and they just support whatever you do because you're hilarious
what a
and
bunch
your
of
content is good.
losers. I'm seeing pretty split.
Okay, so I'm having a girl.
Yay!
Having a girl.
I'm so excited. I already knew that, but I'm so excited to hear that because I think
know.
that girls are generally easier. And I think
Yeah.
you might get a little break. And then if you decide, like, I can't do this anymore, you got one of each and it's cool. And you can close up shop if you have to.
I know, one of each. When I told my grandma, she was like, a real gentleman's family, a boy and a girl. Magnus is crying.
Oh, no. It's okay.
Matei, do you want to bring him in? Let me just make sure he's okay. He looks kind of sad.
Okay.
You okay?
Marco, I am trying to establish dominance over the chat. I know. It's foolish. It's foolish. She's never going to show you her belly, you guys. Give it up.
No, I'm not. I'll do like belly shots on Instagram and stuff, but I'm not going to like stand up on a live stream and be like, this is my gut. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not doing that.
I don't know why I'm here. It popped up on a search for the Kenosha kid. Why on earth would that happen? This is the only stream on YouTube right now where we're not talking about Kyle Rittenhouse.
Well, Magnus is really upset. I think
it's okay. We can
I
wrap
think
up.
he's just gonna take him. No, he's just gonna take him. He'll get over it. It's just one of those things like we were talking about earlier. When I see him crying, like I can't not try to soothe.
Yeah.
He'll get over
Here's
it.
my boob.
Sure.
That's all I am.
My belly button did not pop out. I have a really deep innie.
So you wanted a girl. How are you feeling about this information?
I'm really happy. I'm really, really happy. I'm so excited to buy girl clothes. I'm so excited to like share my knowledge of what it means to be a woman with a little girl. You know,
Yeah.
I'm so excited for her to wear a dress that's been made by her great grandmother, who she's already told me she's going to start working on it. Like I have a brother. I'm the oldest with a little brother, and we're like best friends. So like kids are going to be friends most likely, you know, unless there's some sort of dysfunctional thing in the family where they end up hating each other, whether it's boy or girl or, you know, boys or girls. Like I think they're going to be best friends. I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that they're best friends. And there's like this part of me that's kind of like, I'm so happy that Magnus can still just be my special boy.
Yeah.
You know, like there isn't another boy now that I now have to integrate into my life. I now can just do the girl thing, you know, which is like, it's exciting. It's new. Like, I don't know how I'm even going to relate to a baby that's a girl, you know, because I'm so identified with being a boy mom. So I'm just like thrilled. And I'm also very, very excited for the possibility. What's wrong, my angel? You come here. I'm really, you want a cookie? Mleko. Oh my goodness. Mleko is the Slovenian word for milk. I'll give you some mleko in a minute, okay? Yeah, it's okay. Oh my goodness. What happened? Did you fall down? You fell down? Are you okay? Did you get a boo-boo? Oh my goodness. I'll give you mleko in a little bit, okay? Come here. I'm just gonna put you on my knee, okay? No. Yeah, I'm really excited to have a girl. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be.
Are you
really,
more
really
or less scared to give birth because you've already done it?
I feel like, you know how everyone says no two births are the same? That has gotten in my head and that has made me scared because I'm like, I literally had the dream birth.
Yeah.
My first birth. There's nothing I would have changed. There's nothing I would have wanted different. So I'm like, can I hit the lottery twice? You know, like, can I have the perfect birth twice? Is that possible? Or am I like doomed and destined to have like a horrible traumatic second birth because it
No.
has to be different, you know? So I'm just
Strange, because I find that advice extremely reassuring. So reassuring. I think you'll be okay. You've got
hope
a
it's just
tried
gonna be
and true
normal.
uterus, so you know.
I hope so. I hope, like, my midwife last time, yeah, I'm almost done now. Yeah, I'm almost done now. Darling, his hot tea is there on the counter. He has cow's milk now with cinnamon and raw honey, and we call it hot tea. Would you like some hot tea? No. No. Okay, well, I'm gonna put it here for you.
How sweet.
I can't remember what I was saying there.
It's okay.
Oh, she said that my labor was efficient and textbook. So maybe I'm just like the kind of woman who has efficient textbook births, and that's what I'm praying for. But I am scared because I'm just like, maybe it's going to be really different from the last time, and you know, maybe
It's
I'll have to get
okay.
transferred. And I'm hoping that it won't come to that, and it'll just be like a normal, easy birth. I am going to try and have a water birth again. Someone
Cool.
asked in the chat.
God will provide, and we're praying for you.
Thank you, guys.
Every night. So.
Yeah, that's my microphone. Yep, that's my microphone.
Well, I'm so glad that we were able to do this today. I'm so
me
glad about
too.
your little girl, and we'll keep everybody posted. And you guys have seen how inconsistent we are on this channel, but we'll try to do better. I say that every time, but I don't know. We may or may not do better.
I would love to try and make this like a regular thing. My husband's work has been insane lately.
Yeah.
And so that means I'm minding the baby a lot on my own, which doesn't leave a lot of time for streaming, but the weekends are the best for me. So hopefully we can try and do like a Saturday morning stream on a this is going to be like my window of time where I could do an hour stream,
Yeah,
you know?
I can definitely do it.
So let's
thank
try.
you so much for joining me, and thank you live chat for joining us, and we'll be back soon, probably.
Hopefully. Okay, thanks for tuning in, guys.
Bye, guys.
See you next time.